What's up, y'all? So it's July down here in South Georgia. I'm gonna go through what I would do to prepare for a tournament. I'm not gonna be fishing in a tournament tomorrow, but I'm gonna go through what I would do to prepare for that, especially for those guys that don't have all the fancy electronics with the side scans and down scans and active targets and stuff like that. And basically, it just goes back to fishing what you know and how you know. So being down here in South Georgia, one of the first things I'm always gonna throw is gonna be a frog. This is a hollow body frog. This is popping. I think this is called a Booyah Pad Crasher, and I'm gonna throw this over anywhere from lily pads to hydrilla to cattails, to anything you can find with any kind of weeded, thick, matted structure early in the morning. After I throw that, or even during the middle of that, if I get around some docks or something like that, or rock lines, riprap, I'm gonna throw a buzz bait. Just makes noises. Let's sit down here in the south, it's hot, and a buzzbait always proves to do good in the summertime. Moving on into the day, as it gets even hotter, I'm gonna want to skip some docks, try to fish those shade lines. They say I don't have side scan, stuff like that, so I know what to fish down here. The fish are gonna be looking for shade just like you and I would. They're trying to stay cool. You're gonna try to find swing banks that have a current coming through it, or a deep drop off. A swing bait that goes to shallow water with a ledge. That's the kind of stuff you're gonna be looking for. So when I do that, I'm gonna be fishing something like a shaky head like I have here. And to rig that up is pretty simple. You use any kind of worm really. Me specifically this time of year, because the bite is so tough sometimes, a lot of times I'll use is the shaken Nico Crawl by Culprit. This is a 4.5 inch. You see this bait here, it looks like a little crawl, but it also has that slim profile, so it moves the water really good. It also has this thick body here where you can put an O-rig on it to Nico rig it, or even wacky rig it. But me, I like to just throw it on a shaky head. This is really good. It's flat on one side more so than the other. It's kind of hard to see, I'm sure, but it makes it really good for skipping way up under those docks. And it's really easy to rig. You just take your regular old shaky head hook. I like to use the flat shaky head, and you just screw that on the corkscrew here. All the way up, and then you, like I said, you want to have it flat, so like so, and then you pretty much just basically the same way you would with a Texas rig, up and through, and you're just gonna skin hook it like that, and that makes for a really good presentation, especially with that flat head there, because it's gonna come down, especially with a thicker body on this bait in particular. It adds more buoyancy. So when it's sitting on the bottom, it's really just going to sit straight up and down, almost as if it was Nico rigged already. And you just kind of bounce it. It's going to really make a really good natural presentation for those real finicky bass, especially in these dog days. Next thing I'm going to have a chatterbait here. This is the original chatterbait. On that Texas rig there, I'm throwing it's going to be on a Duckett series, Jacob Wheeler series, 7-foot medium heavy rod with a fast action tip. And I like to really be able to bounce that lure. My next bait I'm going to be throwing a good bit is going to be a chatterbait. It's original chatterbait. This is a rage tail bug on the back, and that makes it, with that flat profile being off that, this also makes it easy to skip. See how it sits flat like that? When you go to skip it, it'll skip up under those docks a good ways. And these also have really good action in the tail there when you're pulling it through the water. Now I'm gonna throw that on a 7'2". This is 7'3". Yeah, 7'2" Jacob Wheeler series, Duckett, medium heavy action, fast action tip, same way. I like to get a lot of action out of the tip of the rod. I'm gonna throw this a lot year round. This is gonna be a regular 7.5 inch corporate worm. I've been using the blue flake shad on a lot lately. The worm we've been having has been kind of stained, not clear, it ain't muddy. But so I like to throw something that's kind of in the middle. I like to throw a really natural color when it's really clear, something like a green pumpkin or something like that when it's real clear water. But when it's dirty water, I like to throw June bug. I use that a lot, black and blue, stuff like that. Down here in the south, all your dark colors is what you're really gonna be looking for. And when you have something like what we've been having lately, which is a lot of stain water, I'll throw something that's a little in between the two, which is something like like the blue flex shad here. I'm gonna throw that on Texas rig, and basically what you're gonna do there is you're just gonna pin that down until I like to go about to where the hook starts to curve. Pull it back out, slide all the way around. And a lot of people stop there, but when I don't like doing that because you always have this little extra tag here of line. So I'm gonna pull past that and come back down over it. And what that's gonna do is just gonna add a little bit more weedlessness to that. Because now instead of having that little tag line hanging out, you're gonna have nothing but a straight line here. And when I rig that, I'm gonna pull it back, pull it through, and just a skin tag just like so. I'm gonna be throwing that on a Ducky Series Triac, 7-foot medium heavy action as well. If you can't tell, I like Ducket and 7-foot rods. But next, after that, this time of year, you're also gonna be doing a lot of suspended bass. They're gonna be suspended. You might be fishing in 20, 30 foot of water. They're gonna be sitting in between the 8 and 12 foot range. For that, I'm gonna be throwing the, this is the OG series of Ox Garage. Big on Rapala. You see there, this is a Slim 06. This is a really good bait. This one runs about 8 to 10 foot of water. So it's really gonna help target those bass that are suspended mid-range. So you might be in 20 foot of water, but a lot of them are gonna be suspended between that 8 and 12 foot range of water. And this is a really good bait to get there. Made by Oct Defoe. That's why it's Ox Garage. So it's a really good bait to do it. I've also got that on a Ducket. It's a Ducket reel. Paradisium. I can't say the word I'm gonna say, but you can see that there. This is a good reel though. Really good reel. I've got 4 of them here. The last 3 in that one are those. Next, we're going to Eufaula. You can't go wrong with a swim jig at Eufaula, especially around boat docks and stuff like that. So that right what I have here is just a swim jig. And I've got the culprit swim bait on the end of it there, just to help swim it through. And on that, this is the Daiwa Procaster Series 7-foot rod, medium heavy action. It's a little lighter medium heavy action than what you would normally find, that's something that you really want when you're using a swim jig, because you really want to be able to bounce the tip of your rod, so when you're working that jig and you're sitting there kind of vibrating it, and as you can hear it bouncing here, that's what's going to be doing in the water while you're doing it as well. It really makes that bait just kind of jerk around in the water like a bait fish would naturally. At least one thing that I really like to do this time of year is find that matted grass, the thickest stuff you can find. And when I do that, I am going to be using a punch setup. And so a lot of y'all have asked me what kind of knot do you use for a punch setup, and I use the Snell knot personally. I'm gonna show you how to do that real quick. First of all, you're gonna need a bobber stopper. This one is made by 6 Sense, I believe. You're just gonna put that through the loop, and it just pulls over like so. Then you have your bobber stopper here. I'm gonna slide that up. Next, I'm gonna start with, you wanna use whatever the lightest weight is that you can get away with using. But I've been fishing here recently. I know the mats are starting to get pretty thick. So a lot of times I would even start with like a 2 ounce weight, but I'm gonna go with a 1.5 ounce Titan tungsten weight. And you can see how it's stamped on those weights. So that's really nice, because a lot of times your weights can get mixed in together and stuff. But Titan tungsten stamps them right there on the outside for you, and they don't chip. It's really good weight. And you're just gonna run that up on there, just like you would any bullet weight. These bobber stoppers are really nice because they actually, instead of it just being the little peg, they have a little insert that does go into the weight there, like that, and it really makes that weight not move. As you can see there, it's on there, it's not moving. Now, to tie the Snell knot, which is what I was talking about, several people asked, you have to come in from the circle side of the hook when you do this knot. So you're gonna come in this way. You're gonna make a loop here, like that. So this is what you have. And then from there, all you're gonna do is grab that loop, take your tag in, and make about 5 or 6 loops around the hook. Like so. Take your tag in, go back through the loop that you created, and all that's gonna pull down tight. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. You see how your knot is below the eye, but you have your string coming in from the open end. I'm going to tell you why you want to do that. You also want to cut your tag down. So the reason I use a Snell knot is, when you're flipping those mats, a lot of times it gets hard to tell when a fish actually bites that bait. But with a Snell knot, once you have this weight down here, and you set the hook, or one grabs it, one just grabs it, runs with it, it's going to pull that weight down, and it's going to go ahead and put that hook in that position. So instead of it being up and down, just as soon as something grabs it, it's going to go ahead and give you an initial, pretty much an initial hook set. So just as soon as something grabs it, it pulls it down, and you see how that hook sticks up. And that's going to stick that fish right in the roof of his mouth and really help you when you're with your hook sets, when you're punching mats, especially when you're throwing heavier weights. It's really important to get a good heavy, good hook set. That's why I throw a heavy, this is a Gamakatsu 3/0 hook here, heavy wire flipping hook. It's really thick, it's really meaty. I can set the hook on something and know I'm not bending that hook. And I'm confident that that hook ain't going nowhere. And when I'm out there flipping, I like to use a 4.5 inch. This is an Incredible black and blue plate. And all you're gonna do with that is, you see how it's got the bait keeper here. And so you just run that up about 1/4 of an inch. Pop it out. And just like you would with a Texas rig, you're gonna slide it back down. And the Incredible has this nice little, you probably might not even be able to see it, but there's a little hook keeper built into this bait. The culprit really did a really good job when creating this bait, to where it just hooks up, and you can see where that hook just sits right up under that little flap there, like so. And you pull that, like I said, you pull that down flat, and it sits there. Then every time something's gonna bite, it's just gonna pull that bait. It's gonna pull that bait straight up into the roof of the mouth. And for that setup, I'm gonna use I use a 7'11" extra heavy Abu Garcia Veritas rod. I actually got this rod from a big bass tour, I believe, from early entry, and man, it's been a good one. And I'm gonna use that on this is a Abu Garcia Black Max flipping reel, meaning that so it has the button on the side here where you can push it down, flip it, and as soon as you let go, it's going to tighten down like that. It doesn't stay locked down unless you want it to. It's made for flipping. It's a great reel. But I'll catch up with y'all guys in the morning when we catch some and show you how to do that too. All right, guys, we're out here at Chihuahua Creek Marina here. A beautiful morning. Got out here a lot later than I really wanted to, but we're about to get out here and try to get on them. Probably gonna be hitting the docks up in Chihuahua Creek Marina to begin with. Maybe throw a buzzbait or frog, see what it looks like over there. Then we're probably gonna take a run down south towards Patala Creek and see if we can get on any over there. I'm gonna try to keep y'all updated on where I'm at, what I'm fishing with, how I'm presenting what I'm fishing. Yeah, let's get after it. All right, guys, we're getting ready to take off here from Chihuahua Creek Marina. We're gonna go see if we can get after some. We ain't going far. I just wanted to show y'all exactly where I am going. Beautiful day out here today. One thing I like to do too before I take off is I'm gonna say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time in your presence. Thank you for leading us and guiding us in every situation in life. Thank you for loving us and taking care of us. Thank you for always being there for us and protecting us and providing for us. Thank you for keeping Randy and the kids safe when they're on their way here later this afternoon or here in a little while. We love you and thank you for always being there for us. In Jesus' name, amen. I don't know what the heck is going on back there. That'd be a gator. Good fish. Right there on the shaking Nico crawl. Probably about a pound. He'd be a keeper in the tournament. I'm gonna put him in a live well and maybe see if we can't get what our 5 fish total would be by the end of the day. Telling you that little shaking Nico crawl the culprit just come out with. Thing is deadly. Throw that thing on a little 3/16 ounce shaky head. Smash it.
I got another one. It's a little one again. It's not the same fish.
It's bigger than the last one.
It's tiny. Look at it. Oh, it's just a little baby.
Show it to the camera.
Oh, God, no.
Nice little fish.
Whatever he said. His face is giving me an half of it.
Alright, y'all. We just got back from Eufaula not too terribly long ago. Had to stop recording because my phone was telling me the emergency heat thing or whatever, like, so it just stopped. So I had to stop recording a lot. Did end up catching one more good fish on a boat dock around Chihuahua Creek. Randy caught a couple of smaller ones. So I think for a total we would have had like 3 keepers. But we had to leave around, I don't know, 12-ish. We got cut short because the bottom fell out. It started getting really rough. Luckily we were already off the water by the time that it did get rough, but heat index today was 108 degrees, so it was hot too. But with the weather coming in and knowing that it was coming in, we weren't able to go to hardly any of the places that I planned on going. We pretty much had to stay close to the Chihuahua Marina and within that range. Especially with having Randy and the kids with me, I didn't want to put them in a bad situation. But we still had a good time, caught some fish, and thank y'all for checking it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.